dying for the second time this game. Not the biggest kill, but it's still a kill nonetheless.
Denny in trouble though.
Yep. And with the rotation from Crypt from behind, there's the Bramble Maze. They'll get the kill. Fear having 3 points in the poison attack. Strikes back in the mid lane.
Crypt just focusing on the disable right now. He's got 2 seconds from else they run into afterwards, while still dealing decent damage. So I like the skill build so far from Crit. It's been pretty effective in these ganks.
Yep. Training points in the Shadow Realm, which is perhaps what you see more out of like the off-lane Willow play, but Lockdown definitely more reliable early game component of this hero.
And it's a slightly different playstyle so far from EG in this game compared to previous, in that they are kind of roaming their heroes a bit. The only lane that's been kind of static for them was their safe lane Rubik, but they're going to give that up now because he's been dying a bit, so it'll just be Morphling versus Legion 1v1 for a bit while they gank.
Curse Crown coming in. This one at top lane. The Chaos Knight, the carry, Crystallize. Can they bring him down? He gets the reality to try to pull himself away. He's still trying to juke his way out of this one, but the last right clicks comes in. Sumail goes aggressive. He's got no health, but he gets the stun on LeBron. Glimpse back under the tower, but the creeps are taking the tower shot. I don't think they're getting to Sumail. Wants to go back in. As you say, he's got a fairy fire. Can he find the kill on LeBron? He's going to go for the burrow strike. Does he guess right? Sumail. He doesn't have it. He needs an escape now. Can go into trees and TP and stun onto General. Will deter any further chase, and he's not even going home. He's still here. He's like, I'm going to find... Mid lane, Dendy gets pulled in by a telekinesis. Fear. Back to ring in, but...
He ran out of mana there. If he had 25 more, that's 100% Dendy dying.
Throughout the Viper Strike, as like Dendy will fall back and try and up with General, who has been active, but the result of an active Legion commander is a farming
CK in trouble.
Yeah, bring down the Chaos Knight. Heavy Center has been used. Crystallize. Had some one charges, but held on to them. I don't think they would have saved him anyways.
Man, Crit's making this hero look really strong right now.
Yeah.
These rotations have just been super effective.
He has been spamming it in pub games the last week. Anytime I see the watch tab and he's playing a pub, it's almost always on the Dark Willow. It loves playing it in these like dual off lanes where he can just pressure the enemy carry, and that's exactly what he's done to Na'Vi.
Could be Rushman available this game. If they can get a stun setup, they will follow this up with Bramble, but just now picking that up. And with Razor being in the lane as well, this is not the lane you want to gank.
Do a free top, and they for Mel. And the nice thing about the Sand King when there's a Tusk pick is you do have an escape against the Ice Shards block. Cores in general that aren't afraid of being blocked in by an Ice Shard, same thing with the Morphling, making Tusk pick a whole lot weaker in the early game. You can't rotate on the Sand King, you can't rotate on the Morphling because of the escape spells.
So with these lanes changed up a bit, it's kind of just the support sacks mid, get some experience, definitely much needed for Disruptor. Once they do pick up the ultimate, they can score some big kills on heroes like Morphling. But CK swinging.
Really struggling. Okay, try another stun here. Snowball throw into the nuke. Bill just thinking he might need to save his buddy there. And he gets lifted back into. Mails there with the Burrow Strike followed up. The Bramble Maze there is Morgan is completely surround Dendy. No escape for the Razor. He gets brought down, and this is worrying for Na'Vi. Dendy comes top to try and help out. Chaos Knight doesn't really have anywhere to farm, and Dendy even dying there means these lanes seem to be falling apart.
I just don't have that much faith in Chaos Knight as a hero right now. I think Crystallize has been playing amazing, but this is going to be a tough game for him. He's got to like rotate around and get kills, but the hero's gank potential is not even that strong. And EG's going to take the top tower pretty easily, and now even less space for their heroes to farm.
9 minutes in. He is very proficient at taking those early off-lane towers and just pressuring lanes, taking over your side of the map. We saw it last game, perhaps with a lot less kills then. This time around, we've got 12 kills already in 9 minutes, but he's a team who love to just pressure the lanes out, take over your jungle, and just limit the amount of farm available to you.
They're just scanning right north of the ramp here on Radiant side, looking for the gank that was to come, but slightly off based on Na'Vi shrining, and in fact, they're actually going to a different location right now, and they've got duel ready.
No, it's easy. They snowball.
Oh,
He wave-bumps through! Arteezy glimpse back. It's not over yet. He's got to still find a way out of this one. He's got some more charges to work with. Has been dueled up. Not sure they'll get the duel kill, but they should be able to finish him off.
Wait for him again.
Oh, can he get out? He gets to the high ground. He TPs. He's out of there. Arteezy. What a great start with the dodge on the snowball. He escapes the 4-man gank, and when you can't kill the enemy carrier with a 4-man gank, you know things are going horribly wrong for you.
It is not easy to kill Morphling right now. If he gets Morph off, he's gonna live most likely. And unless you can like instantly blink duel before he gets that off, how are you gonna deal enough damage?
TZ doesn't even thicken the fountain to heal. He actually bought a salve and then just left the fountain with 0 health, full agi, and pops the salve to heal. He wants to get back and start last hitting as soon as possible, and also defend this bottom tier 1 tower.
Yep, he gets back to the time here. They're gonna wait for more. It's a little scary. Oh, well played.
No, he morphed a Razor, instantly dueled. The perfect reaction coming out from the LC there.
Gonna try to kill General, but he hides in trees very wisely. Crit still gets the attack off, but only 1 point of Shadow Realm in. And General was so on top of that.
Yep. Fire Strike top crystallized, needs to be careful. Misery's in the neighborhood, does not have the ultimate yet, but the static storm, they're next going to get the kill. Sumail telekinesis from Misery. And try buying some time, just gets the illusion, but still stuns both heroes that were chasing with it. And uh-oh, Reality Rift still catches Sumail. The Burrows break away. Will just be a 1-second stun, but they get the kill. And we'll look for a second. Misery trying to run away, but with the 4 points of Reality Rift, that's a very short 6-second cooldown.
Gotta lift in 3. Could buy himself some time or juke for TP. Doesn't have a tangle.
Very hard. The Tusk will say no as they secure the kill. Dead the bottom got fairly low, it looks like, but still alive.
That was such a needed kill for Crystallize there. Double kill. Big plays with the Phantasm usage, and it essentially gives him a double damage in terms of damage output. Treads is the item to go, but finishing his armor as fast as possible is going to change his ability to kill heroes and greatly enhance it. They had to really work for that one.
The Blink Dagger is headed top. Fizz with Epicenter.
This is so fast. Dangerous for Chaos Knight. He does have a raindrop though.
That's the problem. You don't feel safe farming the lane. You're like, oh, it's a bit risky for me to be farming up there. But no, he's going to go farm the jungle where Sumail is waiting. Fear there to back him up. And this is a dead Chaos Knight. Nowhere for Crystallize to farm right now, it feels like.
He didn't even have to use Viper Strike. Gets to save it, rotate mid. That's going to force Lil to go down possibly to the bot lane. Or maybe he's going to get conquered. And he wants to fight it, but...
Heads down.
800 gold saved up. Razor, do you think he can rush the drums? Just needs to tank up a bit, it feels like.
Yeah, drum is definitely the most common Razor item. He's queuing up Eul's Scepter though. Gives him a way to interrupt a couple important abilities like Epicenter. Could grab Morphling if needed to buy some time. Dodge spells. There's definitely some good things about it. He gets Bramble Mazed, he can Eul's himself first round.
As he queues it up, he also just buys it.
He's the item after, maybe.
Yeah. I think quite a bit of this Eul's Razor build, like you say, there's a lot of different utility you get out of the art, and you become very, very fast as well. I hear that really wants movement speed because of how static link as well as your unstable current works. You want to be right next to heroes, dealing damage, purging them, being able to right-click them as much as possible.
Fighting towers, it's not uncommon for them to see them group up to hit a tier 2 this early in the game. Certainly easier now than when they get all their team fight ultimates and items they need.
Creates room for Arteezy. He's playing the late game win condition, the hard carry, the Morphling, and being up here with 4 heroes looking to help them out. But then he goes charging and get him instantly stunned up, rooted as well, and he's just going to die before his team can even back him up. I think Na'Vi misreading that situation.
They definitely looked a little confident there. General doesn't quite have his Blink Dagger finished though. He's just finishing up now. If he gets an initiation in that fight, yeah, maybe it goes very different, but hard to take these dive and chase fights, especially against a hero like Dark Willow. There's
a lot of burst damage from the EG side. They can very quickly bring down a Razor, as we just saw. Misery gets pulled back in by Eclipse, but he's still holding his ground. Nice Burrow Strike coming in from Sumail, catches Lil, but there's going to be a purge off from General. He is still surrounded by crit, who completely destroys him with the burst damage coming out from the Dark Willow. That Bedlam absolutely decimates Na'Vi, who are not done just yet. Fear gets the kill on Lil. He's got backup from Sumail. Another Epicenter is going to bring down Crystallizer's Chaos Knight. And Na'Vi are losing this fight effectively 5v4. The entire time this is going on, Tease's Morphling is just farming, and that's going to be terrible news for Na'Vi, Kevin.
Absolutely. It was able to clean up crit on the back line at least with the TP in and static plasma field, but very scary moment here for Na'Vi. Very close to armlet though, and again that will completely change Chaos Knight's damage output. So I hear like Viper becomes kind of within striking distance. I feel like a medallion would make an even bigger difference at killing Viper. But he's got his first item coming out. It's going to be a fast forward stack, which is going to help keep him alive against that high damage output.
Feels very difficult for them to fight into all this burst damage and magic damage from EG. Even with an item like an armlet, he's still going to get controlled very heavily. Telekinesis, Burrow Strike, slows from the Viper, Bramble Mazes, stuns, the Cursed Crown. It's definitely not going to be an easy game for Crystallize, as we've seen.
I kind of wonder if Dendi should have gone for a hood instead of a drum. There's so much magic damage on each side, even in the late game, still E-Blade stuff. So the drum is obviously great for movement speed, but oh, we gotta do it.
Got the duel. He got the morph strength off though. Fast reactions from Arteezy.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I believe that it silences you if you don't get the morph strength off before it, so...
Yep. Can't use any abilities. So I like that he went the drum kind of, but now he's gone health first, thinking, oh, they have a lot of nukes. But I feel like a hood solves both of those problems. It still allows you to get the better talent tree of the 15 agility.
When I was asking, that's the item I was thinking you might get when I was asking you before, when he had like 2k gold. I was like, there's drums, which is the common build, but the hood actually seemed maybe the better item. So
a lot of times whenever I try out hood on drum on Razor, it kind of puts me into a weird item position. Then I feel like if I want to BKB later, I feel like I'm overcompensating for that, and then I'm not as mobile and don't do as much damage. So maybe he just felt more comfortable going the standard build. Yeah. But I mean, now he's just still very vulnerable to magic damage for a while, but at least HP will offset that a bit.
Where Na'Vi looks to go next. They just lost a tier 2 tower, so we talk about EG taking over the map using map control kind of in the way we saw last game, where they get ahead by 5-6k gold, then they just look to extend it. They don't prioritize kills. Well, the best way to get that map control is by taking these early towers and planting deep wards. So this entire top Na'Vi jungle just seems like it is territory owned by EG at this point.
I know, Misery can come all the way up to this tier 3 just to enforce Chaos Knight back to heal, just because he doesn't want to lose a spell or provide a potential initiation. It's so difficult for Na'Vi to play right now just because of the aggressive position of EG's side. They will be able to pressure a tower at least.
Gets it with the Walrus Punch. Flying over the top. Does alert Arteezy that these heroes are in the neighborhood. Interesting, gets the boots of travel to the Lincoln Sphere, but here come EG looking to defend the waveform through LeBron. Knows he's in trouble, does get the click back on the Viper who TP'd in, and Braun is going to get out before the adaptive strike. General look for a TP out as well, and he's actually going to make it, I believe, because there's no stuns. Arteezy used his and missed. Elsewhere, though, it will be Lil's Tusk getting caught out by the Sand King. A kill going EG's way. It looked like they could have almost gotten 3 or 4 kills there, though, if Na'Vi weren't careful.
A little surprised they didn't go commit the Terrorize to it, but it is a very long cooldown. Maybe want to save it for the next fight. They use that just to get 1 kill on General. He's going to respawn by the time they get to the tier 1 tower, and then their ability to team fight is severe. So that crit's really valuing this kill.
I think he may have also not seen when the TP started, so it's like with the cast time, if he like uses it and doesn't cancel the TP, it's like, oh,
good point.
That's not gonna, you're not gonna be happy if you waste it.
So how do you feel about the boots of travel on Morphling? I think it's alright. The movement speed is good, but
very like that item that allows you to just farm on the one side of the map and then still TP in and fight. And perhaps he feels like because of morph, he can fight fairly early on, being able to morph into someone like a Razor with static link.
Good point. The movement speed can really help out in that case. Oh, he cancels actually. That's the move.
Top. Yeah, look for the kill on Sand King. Sumail, a big kill. He's farmed pretty well this game, but I feel like Na'Vi need more of that. If they can get a tower to follow, that would be absolutely fantastic for them. Willow could potentially come in, terrorize.
Fuel is so good against things. Very survivable with Force Staff and Sandstorm and Burrow Strike, but just locks him down and allows CK to do what he wants of damage. And he's queuing up a Blink Dagger next. This is a great way to allow Chaos Knight to transition into a semi-gank hero. He can use his ultimate as he approaches, blink forward, stun, Reality Rip, and that's going to guarantee him some solo kills.
Ball bottom, Will trying to buy some time, but there's no backup coming his way at DG. I think they'll look back at the tunnel. I think he's going to get this kill. It looks like they may be able to find Chris. One more little proc coming out from the Disruptor will finish off the kill. General in some trouble from the side. He's going for the TP out, but there is a stolen clip. Arteezy, I believe, canceling that TP out. Gets a 3rd kill to go EG's way after the Tusk kill bottom.
So sick.
You know, careful to not find any additional ones, but really nicely done.
Yeah, that was a hero to take. If you're chasing heroes in trees, he's thought ahead there. Guarantees the TP cancel. And now with the Linken's, his mana pool is going to be at a much better place. Treads, and a lot of times, is the facilitator of helping Morphling cast more spells in the early game. But now that the Linken's is up, he's going to be set for quite a while in this game.
You mentioned how the Blink is a really good roaming, ganking kind of Chaos Knight item, but are you worried at all about, like, this game, you're behind, it's kind of going to the late game. Do you worry that Crystallize isn't going to scale that well because of this Blink pickup?
I don't think so, just because it's going to allow him to get solo kills, and a lot of times that isn't more important than being able to scale, just because it means that your playstyle can be a little bit different. Like, if any solo hero, whether it's pretty much anybody but Morphling and maybe Viper, I'm pretty sure he can pick off a kill with his ult. That's a huge threat on them. So it'll transition him into his next item, and it's just a small deviation that's going to be relevant for the rest of the game.
The stats there, Legion Command, some of the second lowest win rate competitive Dota for heroes played 50 or more times in recent patches. You feel like the Legion pick has let them down, or are they getting enough out of it right now?
I think he's had a couple crucial duels, yes. He's obviously missed a few more, but very difficult. And that's one of the issues of the hero. You either get the duel off and you get this guaranteed kill if you do it correctly, but getting that duel off perfectly at the right moment is really hard sometimes. And especially early in the game, he just doesn't have that much damage. He can't solo kill people. It requires him +1. That's a lot harder to do without your opponent's notes. But if he can solo and get his team to a good position, it can be really crucial in this game.
Na'Vi getting some good towers of their own, but it's coming at the cost of perhaps a bigger objective. Roshan, DG. Easy. Looks like he's going to take it. And as the Linken's completed, Zero Blade surely not too far away as Na'Vi get a tier 2 bottom in exchange.
No new item yet for him, but Aegis is going to have him sitting pretty good. I think he's going to want to go Ghost Scepter first this game because of the chaos. It's a little dangerous.
Find a dual kill here. Can they get the first damage? The Terrorize coming in with the fear. This is going to buy some time. They're getting very low as well as Crystallize. Crystallize is trying to fight his way out of it with the armlet toggle. He stays alive. He gets the blink out as well. Doesn't look like they'll be chasing down Legion for the Sand King. He's about surviving. Okay. Cute little play there. Misery. The stolen plasma field.
Was DK waiting around to get a turn or something?
He was just going to keep running away. He was definitely not in very healthy fighting shape there.
If he ran all the way back to base 100%, so he must have stuck around or something.
Eyes on Daddy at the end there, just assuming he was going to get out of there, but gives EG perhaps a window to take more control as they go for the tier 2 tower. They haven't got those traditional EG deep wards up just yet, but take a few more towers. They're even drawing lines to the bottom lane. That is very likely the plan, as Misery has 2 wards that can be planted right outside Na'Vi's base. Some or last game when they can take every outer tower, they get wards up right outside and then turn their small gold lead into a very big one, because this one was actually, you know, it was like 5-6k EG lead. It was starting to swing back a bit for Na'Vi as they got pickoffs, but with an Aegis and with Morphling kind of reaching that critical peak, that could very quickly change into that kind of 10, 15, 20k gold lead that we saw last game.
Especially important because Legion just doesn't scale that well unless you end up getting dual kills repeatedly. And against top tier teams, and if EG plays a similar style where they just kind of split push individually and he doesn't keep getting dual kills, then he's just going to get further and further behind. Kind of scary for General here. With that said, he's also a very good hero to catch those heroes in those cases. They're going to initiate on mid though.
Yep. Sorry, Frank to start things off. General trying to get the escape with the press the attack, but he's going to stun on him to follow it up and did not manage to get enough time to link further away. He gets picked so while EG push bottom. There's that final tier 2 tower being claimed.
EG feeling good, gonna go forward. They ping the tower, they want to pressure the racks here.
We'll force TPs at a fair minimum is make Na'Vi come and defend. Perhaps with a Legion commander on the sidelines, there may just not be a defense available. Crystallize is very deep on the other side of the map. They see that Chaos Knight.
He doesn't even have his ulti yet. He's got 12 seconds, so Na'Vi's just got to buy a little time and then get back and fight with Crystallize.
Charging with the plasma field. Pops an adaptive strike. That's good damage. Coming out though with Arteezy, who's got below half health. Solid overwhelming odds being Na'Vi, but it does look like. Oh, glimpse back. This is. Oh, and there's the TP out. Anything to cancel it? Nothing to snowball to. If there was a creep nearby, he perhaps could have looked to stop it, but not the case, as that's like the ideal way to defend high ground if you're Na'Vi, you know? You TP back, you don't just want to scare them away. You need to get those glimpse kills, but very good Willow play coming out from Crit.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool combo. Ortiz did his best to try to save him, but the glimpse is too early. Lincolns ends up covering her even if the Shadow Arm ran. So good transition now for each of their transition. Blade. Fear is working on his Aghanim Scepter, which is going to make his fighting even better. He went the attack range perk as well, so between attacking and spellcasting, he's just straight up effective. But they are going to run into some AoE problems soon. As CK finishes his next item, clearing up those illusions might be a little tough, but not with overwhelming odds. Oh, they're going on CK, yep.
Into a Burrow Strike, the follow-up coming from Crit here. Crystalline's already brought down Fear Harry very low. He's going to pop the ultimate, but he's still Melvin looks like the Snowball going to buy a little bit of time, but he's still dead. Nonetheless, Fear just slowing down everyone. LeBron's going to get brought down by the Viper, and they're not done. They want more. They glimpse back onto General. Misery with the soul and spells this game has been on point as Na'Vi lose 4 and are suddenly in dire straits as Arteezy threatens the top lane. He's stolen the Razor static link.
He's keeping the damage.
He is indeed keeping the damage with the Lincoln Sphere. He blocked the Razor static link, so he's going to absolutely pummel through this tower with an extra 84 damage. Meanwhile, his team's taking bottom rack.
My God.
EG going to get 2 full lanes and put Na'Vi in a desperate position here in a game 2 where they are already down and facing elimination.
What a quick turn. One little fight that went super well for EG, and all of a sudden 2 racks at 26 minutes? That's insane. All because the Morphling has incredible physical damage with all of this agility morph and the stolen bonus damage. Man, now Na'Vi's in this horrible position, and it all started with one simple CK initiation.
I'll go back for the Shrines, as I'm sure EG feel this game is theirs to lose now. They've taken 2 full lanes at just 27 minutes into the game. Are definitely positioned to lock themselves into the grand final unless something miraculous from Na'Vi can change. Dendi's TPing into a lot of heroes here. He's got backup. They're all smoked up. Dendi doesn't get the BKB off initially. Gets lifted away to break the static link. They need the BKB soon. Breaks the Curse Crown. There's going to be the duel coming in. General. Dead's Crit. EG. Perhaps in trouble with Fear as well. He goes in with the Viper Strike. Trying to bring down the Chaos Knight. No toggling away out of that one. Arteezy. He's showing up. He's waveformed in. He's stolen the Legion Commander form. Perhaps looking for a press the attack here as Na'Vi trading 2 for 2 so far. Fire Strike ain't going to catch Dendi, whose BKB is one off now. The buybacks are there, but there's no shrine to TP into. Lil has to TP to the tier 3, and as a result, Arteezy is going to just get another kill on Dendi and put Na'Vi even further back. 20k gold lead as Na'Vi do not get the outcome they were hoping for with that perhaps last-ditch hurrah.
They've got buyback on Wraith, so they had a pretty good fight there. They were able to help kill the Dark Willow at the start. They worked on Viper's armor slowly and eventually picked him off. They went about even there, but they need to get better than even right now.
Yeah, they do as the Snowball will buy a little some time after it gets gone on here, but Arteezy's there to boulder. Oh, what's the George? He's not morphing. Oh, they bring down the morph. He's got buyback, but I don't think you use it. There's no panic here for EG. At least not yet as they keep the ball center in the grade. SP Center coming through. Dumail looking to clean up. Gets LeBron low, brings him down with the Razor buyback. He needs to find a way out of this one. Is there detection? Lil gonna go snowball on through the creeps. He tried to stop the sandstorm, but Sumail was elsewhere. Any duel? No, it's already been used.
Got yours, maybe.
Sumail, can he blink out of this one? Is the damage there? Nope, he gets brought down. That's 3 dead as Na'Vi close the gap a little bit. They hold on. They defend their last lane of racks.
What a defense, man.
As EG have buybacks should they need them.
That was a buyback on Disruptor, and they still got a big gold advantage from that team fight. Huge
and the buyback on Razor.
And Morphling actually just shifted over when Butterfly actually. Interesting pickup considering his ability to just one-shot heroes, but it does make him much more survivable against Chaos Knight, but I'm not quite sold on this.
I mean, it pushes buildings faster, which I guess they just feel like, well, I don't need to kill heroes, we just need to siege. But see how EG look to approach this. They don't go for any kind of a buyback defense here. They don't need to. They are the ones up 2 lanes of racks, and using a buyback seems completely unnecessary in that.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a big advantage right now. They just need to keep this going. Playmail on Viper now, so his vulnerability against Razor is essentially gone. And yeah, Arteezy's just going to go for end the game with physical damage. BKB immediately after the Butterfly. He knows that he doesn't need to kill heroes. They've got a big advantage. They've got a tactical advantage. Time to be Lifestealer, basically.
Yeah, I think this is something where we've seen Arteezy with his kind of main role on this team, which has been the building, some ways. You know, Sumail runs around with a ton of farm, finding kills, creating space, doing Sumail things. Period plays that kind of stable, tanky frontliner. Well, Arteezy, while that's going on, hit some buildings, secure the game, win the game for us, because that's ultimately the end goal for EG. They're 4 out of the 6 racks down. They'll be looking for that final lane and mega creeps very soon.
Na'Vi does have some glimmers of hope, though. Disruptor is only 500 gold away from an Aghanim Scepter.
Oh, wow.
Can prevent item usages. That could be the item that guarantees kills against Morphling, for example. Comboed with Duel, similar situation. So Na'Vi has some ways to make this work. BKB on Chaos Knight as well. Lil's also got the Spirit Vessel, which prevents Morph from getting full health gain from morphing over. So if they initiate properly, they absolutely can win a teamfight against EG.
Absolutely agree. It does feel like, though, they've only got one shot at doing it. One lost teamfight, game's over. Like, there's no room for error if you're in Na'Vi's shoes.
And the toughest part is if EG plays like they did at the end of last game, with slow prodding, then it's harder to take those fights.
Slow prodding's going to come. Misery is AFK in the Rosh pit. His job is to scout Rosh for his team at this point. He is just happy to sit there, let his team know the second Rosh respawns, and nothing else needs to be done as far as he is concerned right now. Playing the tactical game, something EG have proven to be very good at this tournament, in defeating all of their opponents very convincingly so far.
One of the best items against Chaos Knight is actually Shiva's Guard, just because it the attack speed of them all so far, or so much. And that's going to be Fear's next item. So more survivability, lowered attack speed by the enemies. And Na'Vi's going to try to take a fight here to EG to prevent the easy road.
Coming. Na'Vi were hoping to contest the possible road time, but it wasn't the case. The Terrorite's going to push everyone except Dendy back. Dendy's on an island. He's completely alone. Arteezy, he's also stolen the static. He's stealing Dendy's damage. Dendy, as much as he gains, he loses more. And Crystallize in the front line with the BKB is losing his fight for the physical damage. Arteezy going to wait for him. He's trying to finish off Lil. Great snowball, buys him some time. Arteezy, he goes down. He hasn't got buyback as well. Na'Vi, are they doing it? They killed Tanking as well. General on the front line, just doing what he needs to do. Misery trying to chase after Dendy. He hasn't got the damage though to bring down the Razor. Razor alive for the time being, but there's going to be a Dark Willow. Right click, it finishes them off. Oh, from the Shadow Realm. Takes him out. Disruptor looking dead as well. It's the supporting cast of EG who are getting the job done. Crit and Misery making plays here. They're not done. They want General as well. Sumail fires through, and it's GG. Na'Vi eliminated and EG through to the grand finals.
Man, they made that fight really hard for EG though. The Morphling kill that was massive, and if only Dendy was able to stay alive a bit longer with a little more HP, they could have turned that around. But as soon as they got the kill on the Razor, Sumail buys back around that area and walks back to the team fight to make it really hard for them to work down the rest of the players. But man, General's plays in that last moment were incredible. Instantly purges off the Cursed Crown, gives them the chance for Razor to buy more time, but in the end it was just Razor and Dark Willow dealing way too much damage at the end of the fight.
We definitely saw the heart of Na'Vi, something that was
EG's turn to battle.
Yeah, that counts. All
right.
right, fine, that counts. So I think that this year has actually been kind of an interesting year for a lot of older players. For example, Era, here at this tournament, he actually had a really stand up. The fact that he was pressured every single time the laning phase, Bill managed to come out forth, had some really interesting ideas about how to play as patience, playing it a lot more aggressively, a lot more rotation. Seen anybody play Shadow Fiend that way. Icat, a great example of a player that, to be honest, I thought was better total flop when he showed up on Optic, and he's been probably the best player for them. And there's probably a couple kind of come out there and had that second life and have really, despite previous performances the last couple years, have really stood out.
Yeah, we have managed to get it working. Na'Vi in the lead on the Radiant side. We are 3 bans in. Evil Geniuses open up with the Beastmaster for Sumail.
So is Na'Vi going to deny that coddle? It's very likely that they go for that Beastmaster coddle dual lane.
Often try and will submit by giving him safe lane. So you want to be able to heroes that do that. Unfortunately, the has already been banned away. Some other heroes, I would say, like maybe the off lane Sand King, Tide Hunter, those.
A staple. People have been running the either the Beastmaster coddle or the Beastmaster IO a lot of those times. Force so much pressure on the map. I think maybe also too because they see the Viper. That might be the indicator for them to want to play the IO more because you can move around the map very, very quickly. And Viper is looking at that hero that's you're very, very static. You kind of have to play around him. You have to move around.
To be honest, this seems like just such a strong opening from EG. The fact that they could coddle or the Wisp could have meant that Na'Vi weren't able to draft some of those 5 positions. Really just put up with Disruptor or Witch Doctor against, you know, Wisp, then all of a sudden coddle instead, and you have no laning phase pressure. Coddle, Beastmaster. Instead, the ET Viper feels okay for Na'Vi. They certainly didn't that trap it, but Evil Genius, they've got kind of
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. I'm always happy.
5
seeing like one of these like
remaining.
very
I know how happy you are to see Elder Titan.
But one of these like super impactful heroes that Lil is going to be playing.
Yeah.
Like this is absolutely that indicator.
Yeah, Na'Vi already hope to pick up the AA LeBron. See if EG want to ban it. Just against that sustain. The hero's been playing a lot. Helps.
Radiant team.
I think the Disruptor for me is scarier, but
yeah, there's certainly a lot of valid pipe. Evil Genius is not really dealing with any of those. That they take out the Terrorblade. Understandably, it's a hero that Beastmaster Wisp surprisingly can't actually pressure all that much. Simply
10 seconds remaining.
and then Sand King offlane that.
5 seconds remaining.
I think Disruptor or AA for Na'Vi look really strong, while on the other side for EG, I think the Tusk looks really Tusk versus Elder Titans. You can if you're in the right position, you can take your teammates out of the sleep and dodge like the Earth Splitter and a lot of those combos coming in. It's also crits. I think his one
Doesn't he also play the Wisp?
does.
And then he can also get them like any of those combo well with the Tusk and mid, SF, Death Prophet, actually Na'Vi, but those kind of heroes that.
I guess my question is, does Misery also play Aya? Or do we need a Misery? I don't think I've seen Misery.
He doesn't really play. Okay.
Not the all the Disruptor.
Radiant
That's the
team picked.
in versus IO. This is one of the other ones that you can of course just like save the cast to the IO tethers and you getting that multi. He actually takes the AA for themselves. So
2 supports, no stun.
They got a roar. You can get a Dragon Knight.
10
Are they
seconds
gonna-
Start from
remaining.
are they doing like a aggro tri lane with this? This sounds
5
really really
seconds
potent
remaining.
with the damage coming in. A Beastmaster IO with an AA chilling touch on top. They can just run at this safe lane.
Yeah, there's not too many safe laners stand up. Certainly don't want.
They do like to reinforce some else.
Yeah, I just saw Simon that I wanted to Smil back up mid, and when Smil was a mid, around him, And I feel like now that he's in off lane, they just still play around him, but then on a different lane.
I feel like for EG, the lanes have become kind of arbitrary. It's kind of
Yes,
like
that's
Sumail's usually playing 2 regardless of which lane. It's almost like these days I feel like we might need new terminology. You know, we've had 1 to 5 and we've had mid, off lane, safe lane, but terminology is kind of outdated.
That's a great choice. I think that Dragonite as well. Up speed. Lifestealer, you don't really like playing ET.
No,
just a lane you can't pressure at all.
It's throughout all stages of the game. It's very, very tough to play that Elder.
I guess you can't get it anymore though. The Weaver, which was a really great choice by Navi because it feels like a hero can't pressure very easily. Still going to be a lot of ag spams and still going to be a lot of pushes into the tower, but
DK is a really good pick.
Yeah, last Thursday they basically attacked.
Yep,
that's what they'll probably do
that's
again.
The plan.
Yeah.
And that dead lane versus.
Nice to have the extra arm against the easy. Nice that they get an extra stat, and it's a really good choice for Fear.
I think they needed this. I think the more important, the definite thing is like the stun and just the push that comes out. The stun, the lockdown for the Weaver, push that comes out with.
One kind of scary. Maybe you can. I guess you could do some sort of side lane back. Obvious lineup.
EG's turn to
That's always a scare, right? When you have like a Viper on your team, just like,
Yeah.
oh god, they could. That's it. It definitely is it.
As you said, probably more like.
I think it's probably just gonna be dual lanes for EG. So it's the aggressive high lane. Easiest to be alone. I don't really see a hero here for him that solo.
10 seconds remaining.
Just saw EG has 100%
5
in
seconds
707.
That means they didn't pick it in 4 games they lost.
What do you guys like here? Third, like Pugna.
Raises out.
I think they need more of an RTZ hero. I was thinking Pugna, but then Sumail's playing the Beast. It's gotta be.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
gotta be an RTZ.
Could play Puck. I think it's like out of his.
I think for me, I think the Jug
Yesterday or
fits really well with IO.
You like
healing
Jug
ward.
versus-
Thursday they picked the Lifestealer.
I think these 2 heroes that have built-in magic immunity avoid majority of lockdowns.
I think the Lightstealer's definitely out. Viper and such
Yeah.
good counters to it.
That's true. I like the Jug just because the healing ward I think is super nice with IO. They already have a push going with them. Just with the Razor could definitely be an option.
Yeah, it's bad. Can't
Oh,
put it. It's
my
actually
bad.
the first.
One draft, I think one of the times I saw EG pick IO that they surf party. They still pushed early on.
Carson made.
Honestly, I think they just double down on team. The fact that Weaver is fight hero in the
EG's turn to Radiant team pick.
It is the
Wow.
last. Yeah.
They're
They
just
ban out the
comfortable.
Bat Rider and just take that one.
really just don't care about Viper and Weaver.
Well, the thing I like about the lifesteal is it fits their timing, because usually when you have this group up and push strategy, you need the BKBs, and lifesteal 3 BKB, which means the Radiant still have that push timing.
10
Yeah, I guess.
seconds remaining.
But that's why I was down more with Jug.
5
I think they
seconds
probably want to
remaining.
have a hero that they can. I mean, just leaving him alone. Or at least they're going to be playing mostly aggro. Maybe AA is just going to stop now, though.
7-0.
Wow.
Faceless
You
void.
may now
So
select
they're
your
moving the
heroes.
Weaver
Yeah,
off lane.
generals.
Okay.
That's one of Crystallize's favorite heroes. He's very good at the Void. We did see him miss 1 or 2 chronos in the previous game, but
Got Elder Titan. Very, very good.
and Witch
Void-
Doctor,
Void's lost every game here, right?
0-3.
So we mentioned earlier how important these lanes were going to be for Navi. Do you feel like they have to take the basic push EG that mid?
No, I think that Void's the wrong hero against EG's fast timings. I just don't think it's gonna be online.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're only going to get like 2 or 3 Chronos in here, and I don't think their lineup actually takes good enough advantage. ET is good. I don't think Weaver's deal enough damage with that Chronos setup, so
Yeah, I think Na'Vi just needs to stall out the game as best as possible. But I think it's gonna be really hard with this fight, especially versus Master and IO. We've seen that here, that come.
You know, yesterday I was on the panel for Na'Vi, and I said, well, let's see if Na'Vi can prove my panelist wrong. They did it before, they can definitely do it again. Let's head over to our commentary team of Gods and Purge.
Good morning, Indonesia. Let's see. We're going to see if Na'Vi can do something very difficult. They did it yesterday. They upset Fnatic. Now EG.
It would be absolutely incredible if they'd be able to take the win here. Definitely the lower-rated team. EG's performances recently have been amazing, and I think they've looked even better at this tournament, but the way that Na'Vi played yesterday was also incredible. So this would be an amazing game if Na'Vi can upset.
They definitely have potential for some very kind of troublesome lanes, I feel. Like, Weaver's one of those offlaners who isn't really run as an offlaner, but when he is, he's meant to be very annoying. Get in your face, something that General can really bother EG with. Then you've got the Viper, of course, a lane dominator, a roaming ET. It does feel like Na'Vi could potentially come out on top of the laning stage.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Things like Maledict are a huge threat against some of EG's heroes, especially like Dragon Knight. If he gets off to a bad start, it could delay a BKB, and if he doesn't have BKB, then team fighting might be a little tough. But as per usual in EG lanes, it's really going to be a lot about the dual off lane. How does Sumail do in his lane with crit, and can they transition to a later part of the game where they can control the map?
Will be the dual lanes that was kind of brought up by the panel. We're going to see Misery, at least for the start, up top, supporting Arteezy, down bottom, Crits IO backing up Sumail. Very difficult lane to fight with. And picking a Void, if anything, I mean, I talk about those other lanes being annoying. This is the lane where EG should have a great time, because Void is not a safe lane carry that really bullies.
Yeah, and Time Walk isn't really that abusive against these two, because they don't really do a super huge amount of burst damage, at least until they get spirits and things like that. But with that said, Wish Doctor is going to be really effective against two heroes like that.
And battle over this bottom bounty rune. Crystallize really wants it with the cast. He's going to get it, and Time Walk away. 3 bounty runes for Na'Vi. Nice little start.
Not all that bad on EG's side, though. They still did a pretty good amount of damage to Crystallize to start things off. He starts with 3 sets of regen, so that'll make things better. And the bottles start now for IO, so any bounty runes that come up, any runes are going to be huge for them winning this lane.
Bothers himself. Top lane General going for the pull. No open wounds used. He doesn't want to use Shukuchi because he wants to pull this wave with him, but he takes a lot of damage as a result. So it does look like they're going to be prioritizing, as per usual with Na'Vi a bit, Dendy's lane. They're going to give him the dual lane with Lil there to bully Fear a bit.
And it makes sense. Just a small mistake from General there in that he didn't aggro all of the creeps, and if one of them stays behind, it would mean that Life is able to get most of the last hits under the tower, but he's going to be forced to tango up here. I love that Misery followed him all the way. It's such a good move.
And without a salve, it's really hard for him to actually regen up. He regens very slowly. Anytime he's poking his nose up, Misery's coming back in, looking for additional harass.
He's doing his best to even just limit the last hits. Able to be gotten, look at that, getting the range creep as well.
Yeah.
That was so good for Misery, actually. He's like halfway to level 2 now just from that deny.
That was a lot of harass damage, and not the start perhaps General on the Weave was hoping for. Arteezy managed to kind of pull the wave behind this tower to meet the next creep wave, which means it's not going to push out even for the Weaver's tower. Often the big thing about that pull is you kind of get your 2 creep waves to meet behind the tower, and then the lane also pushes, but because the tower killed the creep wave that fast, General is not really going to have the best lane equilibrium. This feels like it's going to be a tough lane.
Yeah, especially because of his starting item build. He's opted for a fast potential wand and a circlet, but yeah, he's got a mango in his backpack, but he just doesn't have that much regen yet. He hasn't gotten any last hits from the first wave, so he's not even close to something bottle. He may have to ferry out some more regen early, and it's going to be a tough lane.
The ideal hero to be waves with. You can't Shukuchi and pull the wave with you. The aggro and punishing him.
Even getting like level 2 on Weaver as well would give him huge kill potential against A, whether it's this or even Gemini, who trade better. But since they're still both level 1 here, General is just kind of losing all facets of this early trade, but it can turn around based on him getting a little bit more experience and maybe AA getting out of it.
What's your read on this lane? So you feel like EG are going to win both of these side lanes and then Na'Vi win mid, or is it not as simple as that?
I would say it's definitely too early. I mean, but EG's looking really good in the safe lane, at least for the next minute or two. At the very least, they'll force out some more regen. On the mid lane, Fear is already getting very, very harassed, and if they can keep the Dragon Knight low, then they can continue doing more and more damage. Lil's also got a boost start, so he's very good at harassing Fear out of position. So looks really good for Na'Vi on the mid lane. And I think the safe lane is probably way too early to tell.
definitely seen a few times Fear will get pressured early mid, even die a couple more times, and still catch up. So it seems like a player with EG that they just don't mind if he gets pressured a bit. That doesn't seem to bother them.
That's what I've seen as well usually. In the games that he got really pressured, he just gets a Blink Dagger, and then he just goes around and makes kills happen. Blink, stuns, let his allies follow up. And with an A, that's like the perfect thing. Let him sack the lane, get a Blink Dagger, get those kills that help you get back into it until you can get a BKB.
Have one of the players just disconnecting and reconnecting, hopefully getting back underway. Start here with series as a whole, these two teams' journeys. Na'Vi have somewhat done the impossible, beating Fnatic yesterday. What was your how do you feel like Na'Vi are kind of approaching this match after a big upset like?
Well, I think they're definitely pretty happy right now. I think the thing that's going to give them the most confidence is the fact that they are on the upswing and looking like an improving team in a lot of ways. I think all of their players are performing extremely well right now. So I think for the future, that's something that Na'Vi's got to be really happy about, knowing that they're not only getting DPC for this event, but potentially future ones as well. Like maybe they'll improve enough that they could be a TI-worthy team. I think that's a great thing that's got to build confidence for them. And I think EG's on the same. Like they're finally into the groove where they're feeling good. They're falling a little short at the previous majors, but they were looking very good, and they were only losing to the best of the best teams.
Yeah, you look at the teams EG lost to, and you're like, well, if they keep playing like this, eventually they're going to get brackets where they don't have to verse VP and Liquid, and we'll get some top points.
Or maybe play slightly better and actually beat Liquid. Like those kinds of changes would absolutely make a big impact on their prize money and DPC.
We're back underway here. EG Na'Vi, very early stages of the game. General forced to go back to Fountain on the Weaver in the offlane. Definitely not the start he was hoping for with that creep wave pull, but he's going to kind of reset, heal up, and go back as Na'Vi focus their attention on the mid lane with Lil once again coming in, harassing Fear as much as possible to give Dendi that good start.
Definitely tough life for him here. They're going to pressure a little more. This is a little dangerous for Fear, but he's going to be okay. In some ways, General didn't even lose out that badly by going back to Fountain. He's going to lose about 2 creeps worth of experience. He would have had to run all the way to the tower anyways. Considering the start, I think he's relatively happy by saving his Tangos. Bounty Rin's spawning in a moment as well. Io's already moving into position to try to grab both sets if possible, since it'd be even more regen for them in the lane. And yeah, they're going to chase a little.
Yep. Fully LeBron away from it, and there's not a whole lot he can do. He's gone Voodoo Restoration, so you talk about 2v2 lane at bottom. Na'Vi's not looking to win this lane when you're getting Voodoo Restoration. They're just looking to stay alive and farm.
And normally this is definitely the wrong move on Witch Doctor. Lately, Maledict has been the tool to get kills on heroes like Beastmaster that contest the lane. But when you're against an Io, and he's going to have tons of heals anyway, you'll never lower his HP enough for Maledict to actually do damage. So it just completely counters the Witch Doctor as long as they don't get cast bounce too much together. So a slightly different strategy that will potentially give him a better tool against this combo.
Yep. Being chased around a bit, bottom lane, going for some pulls. Usually Lil rotate up top though. He's looking to come and help out General. But immediately gets initiated on the open wounds. Cold Feet not quite going to latch on. The boots perhaps saving Lil's life there. And Misery had to back off himself as General coming back to this lane. Still only level 2, but does have the Gemini, so a lot more damage output coming out from his lead.
And the Face Band helps out a little bit as well, fighting on the bot lane though.
Flies force some time walk out of there. Long cooldown on that and does get hit by the axes afterwards, so.
Every time he lands an axe like that after leap, that's just damage that adds up. And he's missing quite a bit, 1 salve left.
He started with 6 Tangos and the salve, so already no Tangos at his disposal. Does have the Voodoo Restoration, so he's not going to have to use his salve immediately.
We're trading a bit here with LeBron. A little close.
No regen left on LeBron either. This is truly a battle of kind of regen at he needs to use it. That is the beauty of the Io Beastmaster. Crit positioning so well. You can't get to the Io, then you can't deal with the Beastmaster.
And look at this timing. Now they get bounces as well. So even more experience and gold here on EG's dual lane. And that's one of the big issues against Witch Doctor against this lane, is that his armor is super low, so the axes just deal tons of damage. And here in the mid lane, still being very pressured. He's taken tons of damage this game, but he's almost got the same last hits as Viper. So I think EG's really happy with their lanes at this point.
Spent a bit of money bringing out additional regen, but hey, he's got the Soul Ring now, and ultimately, the fact he's not dying and Dendi is not crushing this one. Good news for Na'Vi. Top 3 CS only. General is not having a good time.
Man. That's so good. Tough lane for him. Misery even getting 2 points of Chilling Touch harass, but Fear in trouble in the mid lane.
Dendy, yeah, after getting stomped there, they're trying to get this kill. They can't get another poison attack as Fear duped around the trees. Misery TP'd in, but he actually got gone on by the Weaver, so he's in with very low health. Something that Lil is looking to punish. If he can hit this stomp, that may set up Dendy to get a kill. Can he get the poison attack with the vision? It should be a kill. That damage over time. Dendy brings down Misery.
Yeah, very good try there for Misery to do something, but there's no stun left on Dragonite, and he can't justify the skill point yet. Needs as much Dragon Blood as he can handle at this point. And a nice kill by Dendy and Lil.
I think he must have been TPing when he was full health in general, just like went in and started right-clicking him as he TP'd out, so.
It definitely doesn't take much.
Perhaps did not take into account the Weaver damage when he in that mid lane, but Stance General has the bottle, something we're seeing a lot of these offlaners do. A hero that's slippery like the Weavers, the Bat Riders, utilize these bounty runes. Constant regen is available to you if you can pick up bounty runes.
Plus he's so fast that he can get between them without wasting as much time as a normal. Well, if he's being pressured in lane a bit, it's going to get a bug, but probably run under tower and then up for the last.
Force out a rage there, but not even using a stomp to do so, as both sides will hold their spells and mana, knowing that go for a stomp, he's going to rage, so the value doing some harassment though.
Then he's finally getting some really good lane advantage against Fear here. Got about a full level top of him, so it's a little scary for Fear. No boots yet for him either, so if he gets Viper Strike, definitely a good chance that he dies, especially if there's a rotation.
Misery does dodge the stomp, threads the needle with between them, and immediately he's not very far, but far enough away from the Weaver.
It's a really hard position to be in against a hero that's extremely mobile like Weaver and does high physical damage. If he keeps making good decisions like this, it's going to mean General doesn't have the best capability to catch up, and EG will be at a better position. But if he makes mistakes, he's going to be extremely vulnerable for the rest of the game, and likely a big source of gold for Na'Vi.
Eyes back to the bottom lane. Crit's Io doing some jungling with the spirits. Meanwhile, Beastmaster just have grand old time. He's got phase boot 40 CS. Top of the net worth. They're going to share some regen here. This is a lot of farm and additional experience when you're getting these neutral camps as well. That was a double stack there. Salve up and share the regen. Very troubling for Crystallize, who has lost the race to level 6. Beastmaster has got magic on charges, so potential Raw could be coming out. And that's something you could be very respectful of.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Witch Doctor is going to be the guy they want to go on if they can find him, but very wisely walking far away from any birth of Beastmaster here. And I love how Sumel does this. Look, he hits a small camp with his axes while also damaging the creep wave to maximize the speed that they get neutral.
Top lane. General went in very deep, tried to bring down Misery, but actually got outplayed and pays for it with his own life. Misery, he's been the punching bag for this week for quite some time, but we do see him hit back there with the help of Arteezy on the life stealer.
They throw Scan down behind the tower. They do know that Face of Void's there.
He's hit level 6 now, so there is kind of retaliation. Potential Vipers heaping in. They want to go for this Chrono, but they've got to get the Io. They don't get into the Chrono, but he tries to tether. He'll get caught in that, so there's no retaliation available. Good Chrono placement meant that he could not tether in.
Yeah, that was so smart. There wasn't that much regen on crit either way, so there's a high chance that Sumail lives there, especially with the Viper rotation. But I mean, routinely when Crystallize plays this hero, he makes Face's Void look like a very strong pick, just because his chronos are so well thought out consistently.
Yep. And he also makes it seem like a strong fighting hero. He doesn't go that like Battle Fury build. Typically, it's always like the Mask of Madness into like a Shadow Blade. He wants to use Chronosphere anytime it's up. We don't see, oh, Chrono's up, I'm going to farm. I got a Battle Fury. We see, where is the best place to use Chrono?
Yeah, I love that build a lot more, personally. Makes a lot more happen. Fear possibly in trouble with the invis on Elder Titan, but with Misery behind, they have turn potential. Probably not enough damage on the Na'Vi side anyways. Oh, they pop a smoke. It's instantly broken by Lil's invis. So, very unfortunate.
Yeah, ping the trees, though.
That would have been a really good rotation. Probably we're going to go swing down towards Crystallize, because Dragonite stun with Roar follow-up very likely would have been a kill with Chilling Touch and full speed top.
Yeah, and that would have been something EG's really good at, is getting kills that go into towers. His bottom tower already very low.
He is very dead now.
The Io comes in, but it's too late as LeBron and Lil set up another kill for Dendy.
It's really well done. Just stomp initiation basically as they all approach, drop Maledict, ulti, easy kill.
Much as Na'Vi getting these kills is still very EG favored in terms of the farm that the cores are getting. They get the first tower of the game. It's over 2k gold lead as Beastmaster and Lifestealer, Sumail and Arteezy top the net worth right now.
Still doing that X-Trick to accelerate his farm. He's got 71 last hits on Beastmaster at 9 minutes and 30 seconds. This is
Radiant's bottom
I mean, the
tower
Void,
is
despite
under
all the
attack.
pressure, has 60 of his own. Some of that is neutrals. They can actually get the kill they've been looking for. Down bottom, they've got a cold feet to follow up the potential Raw, so good lockdown. Eyes, you need to be careful here. They go with the tether, immediately time box away. Sumail, ooh, did not go for the Raw. Slightly got out of range there, but it did look like it was cancelled. Instead, they were pressuring the TG tower. Something Na'Vi cannot defend until Chrono's up, and, well, it's up in 5 seconds. They could do this purge.
They've got Glyph to buy 5 seconds, so they can definitely buy enough time to get in position. If they can catch crit on the start,
Here come
this will be
Na'Vi,
best.
smoked up. They're coming from behind. Dendy with LeBron. Can they get the cast? They don't throw it as he tethers
man.
away. He needed to time that cast to kind of chase after crit and perhaps bounce between them.
I'm actually very surprised they didn't just kill Ancient Apparition instead. I mean, he was right there to cast Cold Feet.
They really wanted a core hero, I guess.
I totally understand that, but killing Beastmaster when you're initiating, I don't know. I feel like the A was the easy pickup there. More than simple, just brown boots on him.
They smoked down there, and in hindsight, not getting a kill at all out of that. Definitely, the support kill in itself would have just been plenty to walk away with.
And RTZ does end up in the safe lane again. He's going for the Treads into Radiance build this game. It's been getting more and more popular. Pretty effective this game too, against heroes like Weaver and Void and Viper that need to land attack.
Viper strike in mid, they're going for the kill on B. Here comes General. Swarm to give them some extra damage and minus armor. Don't see any retaliation as Io nowhere to be seen. Dendy gets another kill as General will time-lapse himself back up to healthy state.
Oh man, the TP just got delivered to Io, so that small window there where Io couldn't end up turning twice. Huge timing there for Na'Vi.
General up top, being very annoying, trying to get this mid-break kill, but he gets caught in the cold feet. Bit of a misplay there. Good going on by Arteezy, but he's still chasing with the Spirit. He's getting vision. He knows where Misery is. Doesn't get the Shikuchi damage, but the right clicks will be enough. This level 4 Shikuchi, this is where Weaver starts to get strong and scary. This is like your peak time as an offlaner. The cooldown is really the big part with Shikuchi. Level 1, level 2 has such a long cooldown, it's very hard to play around. But with the Arcane Rune there, it was a 4-second cooldown. There was almost no downtime.
That's crazy.
For that Shikuchi. 0.2 seconds of downtime, realistically.
Which is perfect. That's like just enough time to throw one attack and then go invisible again.
Yeah.
Like, what a great rune for the early game.
That's
on a
actually...
hero. Negatives of having Lifestealer in the lane against a Weaver, it is not a good matchup. Weaver kind of beats you in almost all ways. You can counter open wounds, you can throw bugs on Lifestealer and it stays regardless of rage. It's one of the best matchups actually. It's amazing that in some ways that EG's been able to do this well so far, and it was really just some of that lane movement with the creep wave that they did.
Like Na'Vi have got LeBron up to level 6, which means a Death Ward could look to combo with a Chronosphere. See if he finds an
try to kill
opportunity
General.
back. Tries. Unsuccessful.
It was really hard. They would have had to open wounds him right after Sakuchi ended. Then they could have gotten the kill, but they ended up trying for it even without open wounds. General very wisely went trees after.
Sumail and Crystallize playing very cautiously. Sumail just using his board to last hit. Meanwhile, Crystallize hiding deep in the trees, waiting for the lane to push out. Perhaps getting caught out here. They're going to throw the Raw here. Some of the Necro Book, and they'll to be brought down. We'll look for an Earth Splitter as well as a Stomp. Dendy actually rotating in, trying to some kind of a retaliation. Na'Vi bringing in many heroes here. Both General and Dendy making the swing and not getting any kills there means both top and mid will be taking some damage.
It's actually such a great place to find an initiation because it was far enough away from the shrine that they could escape and use these cliffs to actually get out of the way of Viper.
But Void was farming.
He can Ice Blast this, but
do just that, but
all he can do, just do some damage.
Rune's coming up too, so we'll see Bounty Hunter probably pick that up. Void has rotated in top with the smoke, so looking for that Chronosphere, but Sumail is at the tier 2 bottom tower, so he's likely made this call. Void's not near defending or farming. I've used Raw. If Void's not bottom after I've used Raw, something is amiss. And Na'Vi will not show themselves at either top nor mid. Mel takes the free tier 2 tower. They have read Na'Vi like a book here.
Yeah, losing an Ancient Apparition for that, completely worth it. And this is like the one game on Beastmaster that I feel like Sumail's played defensive in a lot of ways, and it's because he is so scared of the Chronosphere.
Yep.
But as long as he doesn't get chronoed and killed again, he can control the whole jungle at this point with the tier 2 missing.
such a good job just keeping tabs of where this Void is. Like, he played very defensive, like you say, but then the second the Void left the lane and he kind of knew it, the game sense there was he just took a tier 2 tower. So see what Na'Vi can do. They've scanned out the top lane. They perhaps think they're the life steals up here. General is going to cooching in, looking to see what he can find. Whoa! That time lapse back into a roar. General gets caught out there. I think he realized he was in a bit too deep behind the tower, but the roar was ready and caught him inside the tower detection range.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a misfire there in intelligence. He scanned behind the tower, it barely caught AA, and the place Misery was standing was not where General expected him to be, so he dove under that area, expecting to find AA, through the Scarabs, didn't find anybody, and then because Sumail happened to TP in as well, seeing the dive, and they end up getting an easy kill. So just slight misplay there by General, but it makes sense why he did it.
That is a Necro 3 push coming out. 9k net worth Beastmaster. Sumail, perhaps his best off-lane hero is something the panel was talking about. But we will see Fear getting gone here. Going for the TP out with the Io backing him up. He may just survive, but there's the stun. It's going to bring him down. Just enough damage being dished out with the Maledict. Dendy going to TP himself. Sumail
should survive here.
Gonna be okay. Well, Dendy survives. Meanwhile, Sumail does end up going down. That was the top lane. That's the Chronos here. Used with the Mask of Madness. Crystallized gets the kill. Zartizi couldn't do enough damage to Dendy as he TP'd out.
A little help with Weaver as well, so a couple little engagements, but 2 dead heroes on EG. Not sure if that's the best situation for them to be in. They lose their tier 1 mid as well, so Na'Vi is definitely taking EG kind of head-to-head here. Before
that fight, it felt like Crystallize had slowed down. He rotated top, smoked up, couldn't find a Chrono. He then spent some time in the enemy jungle, couldn't find a Chrono, and that's the key thing. Finding Chronos, getting kills is what's going to kind of shoot your farm ahead and also slow down the opposing team's cores by getting kills on that.
And the Mask of Madness is a perfect item for this, just because it's going to allow him to do a ton of physical damage. And against a hero like Lifestealer, more lockdowns is the way to go. Relic is up on Arteezy though. He's about 300 gold away from Radiance, and then everything gets a lot harder for Na'Vi.
Do you think EG is going to be looking to really start grouping up, pushing down towers at that point, or are they happy to keep on farming?
I think they can definitely group and fight a little, especially if they put Arteezy inside some neutral creeps. I think would be the best way. Because Na'Vi actually doesn't have the best neutral killing capabilities. They can like Witch Doctor Casket, they can hit it with like Weaver, but against somebody like Faceless Void, he can be really obnoxious in this game.
Let's see how DG approach it, because yes, the Void Chronosphere, that is the one cooldown that Na'Vi have to really be careful about how they use it. Anytime it's down, it does feel like DG can take objectives. Roshan will be almost a freebie for them if there's no Chronosphere to contest it, so Na'Vi, I think, have to pick their moments right as far as how they use their ult.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. The one hero that's not going very well for EG is Fear on the Dragon Knight, but with that said, he's almost got his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, Misery. This Weaver has just been bullying Misery time and time again.
The ward placement allows it so well. Spots where all the supports are likely to be, and then he can go to the solo kills with the fast defusal. He's recovered so well.
Yeah.
General has.
Nice and decently farmed here. We'll find out he's in the mid lane, but that Radiance will definitely deter him from going for this kill.
Tower is under attack.
Na'Vi will take the tier 1 at bottom, but the tier 2 top, the bigger tower of the two, taken by EG. Necrobox. Go back in to finish this one down. Gets out to the range. Na'Vi actually want to defend this one. Dendy comes in, gets roared immediately. But he's still barely taking it. Sumail will juke out the Earth Splitter, going to the side here. I think he knows he might be in trouble here. The Ice Blood's flying in. Dendy's going to get low from this one. Here comes Io. He saves Sumail. Takes him back to the fountain. Crit. Securing the save there. Bottom lane, meanwhile, Chronosphere used. Fear gets caught by the Maledict Death Ward. No escape for him, as he almost certainly will tick on down. Crystallize, happy to let the kill go to LeBron.
Big gold there for LeBron. 454 on that Dragon Knight kill.
It doesn't seem worth it. It's a Chronosphere just for a DK. It's not really the 2 position. We talked about this a lot, where Fear, he always plays kind of third fiddle to Sumail and Arteezy, even though he's playing in the mid lane. And
with that said, though, Fear was able to purchase out his Blink Dagger. And LeBron is queuing up an Aghanim Scepter. This is actually a huge item this game because of how low a lot of the armor is on EG's side. If you can sit really far back in a fight and the cores on Navi's side are gone on, or if they get a Chrono on like 3 heroes and they drop the Death Ward, Navi can just wipe fights with that alone. I think that's why they're forcing gold on him.
Navi are going to do what they can to try and defend their tier 1 mid, but as per last time, Chrono is used, EG look to take towers. I like what Na'Vi are doing. They're split pushing. They know they can't really team fight without their ultimate, so instead, they try and do damage elsewhere on the map. LeBron looking for TP out, but Fear Great guess. The game sense from him to know exactly where LeBron would be with the TP out. Gets the blink stun.
Sumail just solo killed the Weaver on the mid lane as well in the meantime.
My, had the Sentry Ward down, and yet
what a turn of events.
Shadowblade also picked up. It looks like that was what was used to initiate in, and those two heroes dead, well, straight into the Roche pit. EG go.
I mean, they spotted the Witch Doctor going to the north to go for the TP, but Fear perfectly guessing that one. And now the fact that they're getting 2 big kills at the same time is going to make it a lot harder for Na'Vi to stabilize and feel comfortable with their movements. Medallion's picked up as well, so that'll help them take Roche a little faster, but they don't have a lot of time here. This is getting a little dangerous for EG.
They get to sleep. Centaur stun used as well. They're trying to delay this one. The neighborhood. Does he run in and risk this one with a 4-star? He wants to go for the steal, maybe. Does he do this? Dendy just doing what damage he can. Get stunned up. Now the Earth Splitter there as well. They really want to finish off Roche, and Dendy gets away from the Ice Blast back to safety. They give it up. Void was not there. Void did not have Chronosphere. You can't really blame Crystallize doing what he's doing bottom. It seems to make sense given the current state of his cooldown, and Na'Vi delay things a bit, pose a threat, but they don't actually contest Roche.
Very tense moment for both teams. EG looking like they could be killed and Roche taken from them. And on Na'Vi's side, Dendy almost goes down, but the Force Staff able to buy him some time. Keep him alive. He's definitely a tanky one right now on Viper.
Full completed Rod of Atos on Little's
He might try to solo kill Dendy here. He's got Necro in 3 seconds. But instantly look at Na'Vi setting up for this.
Yep. Speed scan. Clever play from EG, scanning behind the core like, oh, this Viper's pushing far up. Is he baiting? Let's check right behind him. And
especially right after Roshan, that would have been kind of suicide for Dendy to do, but EG was way ahead of that move.
And right when Chronospheres come back up, you've got to assume that Na'Vi are going to be looking to take a team fight with it. They've found a few solo kills off of it, but the big group up Chronospheres just haven't come into play. Crystallize not going to the Shadowblade we often see, has a Lincoln queued up, importantly blocks the Roar initiation, blocks the DK stun initiation, and neither of those 2 initiating heroes have a good way to break the link.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think normally Shadowblade is kind of a must when you go Mask Madness first, but this game against these heroes with an AA follow-up, Lincoln's is certainly needed. Because if he gets stunned as he's about to chrono, or if they initiate on him, kill him at the start of the fight, Na'Vi almost for sure loses the game.
BG, 20-minute games we talked about, perhaps something they have on their mind. We're at 22 minutes here. Easy's poking around the tier 3 bottom, the tier 2 mid also being pressured, but it's a team fight up top that's brewing. Dendy, ooh, out just in time as the that's the bigger kill. He hasn't bought his Lincoln Sphere yet. They're going to bring down the Void, and EG find a big kill. Instead of going for the push, they come back to fend and find a Void kill.
Couple seconds away from his TP, and he would have been able to get out in time, but very good defense from EG. I didn't think they were going to be able to do anything there, but Misery providing vision again with his ultimate, and that allows them to follow up. So Fear approaching his BKB territory, only about 1,600 away. But in the meantime, EG is still constantly pressuring. They used Relocate to send Sumo back to the mid lane. And I feel like EG is always, they always have 2 cores on the opposite side of the map in both of the other lanes. And if they just avoid these Na'Vi baits and 5-man attempts, they should have a huge split push advantage.
They're taking their time very well. Na'Vi have not found that opening to get a big Chronosphere off. It really is testament to EG's decision-making and movements rather than Crystallize not having good chronos this game. It's entirely EG are just playing around the fact they're
a golden thread.
Still very far away from them. Not that far, but about 700 gold. He's got to be scared for now. And map control as well is something that Na'Vi's worried about. They're dropping sentries all over the place. They do not want to let EG have any vision because it's totally going to impact their ability to take a fight.
Yep. And there's this Shadowblade initiation from a Beastmaster that you've got to really respect. He manages to just Shadowblade in, get a good roar off. You're in a lot of trouble.
And during the meantime, EG's doing the best thing they can, which is actually just spread out and farm as efficiently as possible. It's not very common that you see EG do this, where they all go hit neutral camps at separate places, but the waves are so... Being too close to enemy base just means higher chance you get initiated on, so occasionally mixing in these moves is going to throw Na'Vi off on the back foot and make them a little confused where EG might be.
EG's 3's cores still have decent room to grow. Lifesteal just now gets his SMY, DK still looking for a BKB, and on the Na'Vi side, the most farm core is the Viper. He's at 10k net worth, but he's got this Helm of the Dominator, Hurricane Bike build. This is not really a late game Viper build.
I think it's kind of reminds me of what Pepita's been doing for transitioning Viper, and I see a lot of value in it for sure. just because if he can keep himself alive in a couple fights, he'll have good attack speed, then as he buys more and more items, like an AC or something else, Sanchanyasha maybe, then he will eventually become right-click heavy enough that he could even contest somebody like Lifestealer.
Yep. Get to that point. The Lifestealer is definitely a hero that can be dealt with by the Viper Strike. Pops a raid, so good tools against the Lifestealer with the Weaver, Void, all three of the cores on paper can match up well.
Yeah, the only downside to their core matchups is just that they're all forced to get Lincoln Spheres. And usually that item is definitely very defensive in comparison to just buying a bunch of damage items. So it kind of forces them down this path. That means that yes, their heroes match up well, but they're not going to do as much damage and be able to just blow up supports as fast as they'd like.
Perhaps a hero we haven't talked about much past the lane stage is the Io. How does Na'Vi approach this? Because theoretically, even if they get a good chrono on the core in the front line, Crit can just save them with a relocate.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That you could try to do what Crystallize did before, which was put Chronosphere behind the target, but as soon as you're tethered, even from far away, you can't relocate. So that's going to be the best target if they can find him at the start of the fight. It's killing Io.
Found a little kill.
Oh,
he'll go down.
Very easy. They didn't even have to use like Dragonite Stun or Necro 3.
Immediate cause of Na'Vi, who do not want to fight to EG right now.
The Ice Blast, going to get the Witch Doctor a little low and prep for the next fight, and they're going to come forward and start hitting buildings. This is a good timing for them. Without Lil there, the counter initiation is not nearly as good as for Na'Vi. They can maybe try for a Chrono with the Death Ward, but very dangerous right now, and Witch Doctor's only has level 1 Death Ward.
Not having that additional damage for a Chronosphere makes a big difference, so EG, Aegis expires. Well, we're going to take another tower. We're fine with that. AC queued up the Lifestealer. Progressing very well for the North American squad who have grown their gold lead. It was, you know, pretty stable, 3, 4, 5. It just seems to go up 1,000 gold every couple of minutes as they just continue to out-farm Na'Vi.
And I think the way they've played the last like 5 to 10 minutes is they grabbed the Aegis and they didn't pressure their opponents because they didn't have BKB on Dragonite, and they waited to outmaneuver their opponents and look for possible kills. So like the best way to play Dota in some cases, if you have a gank heavy lineup, is get a ton of ganks off, and then when they start getting scared and 5-manning a lot, that's when you do that farm period. And it might seem like a waste because of the Aegis, but okay, they didn't use the Aegis, but it also made sure that Na'Vi couldn't take it, and it meant that even if Lifestealer's playing a little aggressive farm-wise, he might be able to escape and get out anyway. And now they're just in this position where they've hit these item peaks and progressed to the next level. Like Lifestealer having SNY and a plate mail means that now he's extremely hard to kill on Navi's side.
Chasing around some illusion at top. Does it hurt EG that they've got this big amount of farm centralized on a Beastmaster? Yes, it's Sumail. He often plays a very farm-heavy role. It's a Beastmaster. This is not a hero that on paper scales like a Lifestealer does or a Dragonite.
On paper, he doesn't, but that's because normally they're never this farm. I think it's a safe answer. He's got Silver Edge finished. It's not at all a bad item in this case. There's some breaks to hit, especially on Viper would be really useful to break Corrosive Skin to make for an easier kill. Like, he can solo kill any hero in the game right now between Silver Edge and a Solar Crest. He's so strong. So as long as he's able to continuously farm at the same rate and potentially get ganks off, then there's really no downside to him getting items on his hero since he does scale as a right clicker with his aura.
Okay. Importantly, against the Beastmaster, Navi's about to have a second link in both Weaver and Void. Kind of remove that solo kill potential with these.
That's
unless
true.
he can break Linkers with the Necro Book, the Purge.
Yeah.
But that's, I don't know, that's kind of a big if. You do have a window to get away. If you're a Void, you see your Linkers break by that, you're time walking the hell out of there. So
Yeah, I think the only way to do it reliably would be to walk close to them, pop the Necro early, and then approach it from trees as you initiate with Silver Edge. That way the Purge hits and you instantly attack and roar.
yeah, and against a hero like Weaver, even if you can't Shikuchi away because you've got the true sight, so that could definitely work well there. But with that said, Sumail's not all about solo kills. He's going to be playing around his team. When he's this farmed, he doesn't want to be off alone. He wants his team wants to be around him, take fights, go for kills. In this case, perhaps secure themselves a Roshan as they smoke up. Both sides playing around the pit. Rosh does respawn for another 2 minutes though.
Like Navi's aware of EG's movement here. They knew they were on the bot area of the jungle, and General's position was also just waiting to break at smoke from either direction, depending on which way EG came. So no kills found. The Dire does end up scanning, but a little bit late there to spot where General was.
Near max Rosh respawn will perhaps slow down EG's game a bit further, but since the ages expired and they were up 8k gold, they're now up 11k gold. So the trajectory is very EG favored as we kind of continue on here. Things just keep on going better and better for EG in terms of the farm they're getting. They just control more of the map. 2 of their deep observer wards are directly outside the Na'Vi base on the top and bottom side. So they see Na'Vi when they leave the base, and kind of this starvation Dota where you can't get out and farm. EG's just farming lanes and farming jungle. Farming your jungle as well.
Yeah. And the hardest is just the solo kill potential that all the EG heroes have. They can just, if it's just a Beastmaster or maybe a Dragonet +1 or Lifestealer +1, they can always get a kill. And there's also the threat of the relocate ganks as well. So there's just so much more pressure on the map from Navi's side.
Then he had an Axe queued up and Tomb of Experience. So I imagine he really wants to get that level 20 Viper Strike damage talent with an Aghanim Scepter and use that low cooldown, longer range Viper Strike as a way of dealing with some of these EG heroes.
You're feeling very confident here. They're going to deward the Observer Ward on the cliff. Genrock's going to maybe grab a Necro 3, but both teams still trying to retain map control. EG not trying to throw any of this advantage away.
Using a Necrobook for dewarding kind of shows the state of this game a bit, where EG recognize we're not really finding kills. Big team fights aren't going to happen. If anything, it's a bit scary against the Void Chronosphere, so let's just control the map.
Absolutely the right move to make, because a lot of times if you're winning this hard, the way that you get behind is if you think you're confidently going to get a kill, and then they have a sentry down, they're able to turn around and initiate on you. And then that's a lot of gold from somebody like Sumail being trickled back into the enemy team. So as long as they just make sure they have map control, then they can confidently walk around knowing that they're not spotted and then make better decisions. And again, Navi's just forced to be together all the time.
Game very much feels like we're building up to this one big team fight. Whether it happens in the next few minutes at Roshan, or perhaps EG get Roshan and it happens after that when they go for the high ground. What are like the key items or key things for the two teams when that big, like with that big team fight? Like what's Na'Vi looking to do and what do you think EG's looking to do?
Well, Fear's almost got his halberd. I think that's very important just because it's going to give him the ability to initiate. That paired with the BKB, he hasn't even gotten the damage perk of 15, he just went health. He knows what his job is. It was have a really tough laning stage, and now it's initiate and start the fight.
General, he had his Lincoln's pump, he's going to get bursted. Nicely played as they're going to go for a +1. LeBron caught out as well, and that guarantees Roshan for EG. It's not the big team fight that I was alluding to, but it's a pickup into Roche. And every kind of kill, every minute that passes, Na'Vi fall further and further behind it. It feels like that big team fight, it's almost better if Na'Vi take it sooner rather than later, because EG's going to be even further ahead when it happens.
And now with Bastion, ganking is even easier. Sumail was able to initiate there. He must have used maybe the troll net perhaps to break the Lincolns, but they're chasing up after Void. Then he's going to buy some time though with the net on Fear, and Crystallize should be able to get away. He's queuing up a Monkey King Bar, so he doesn't have to worry about evasion as much.
I think the surprise was Sumail had a Blink Dagger as well. Like he did break it with the troll in there, and I think he just assumed, oh, Sumail's not here. It's just his troll, but he broke it with a net and Sumail instantly blinked in and roared.
May just seem like a normal neutral creep that Sumail summoned for free, but definitely a gank kill.
Yeah, and talk about how he can't easily break a Lincoln Sphere without, except with the Necrobook. Well, he's got neutrals as well.
Yeah, that's a really cool way to do it. If he happens to get that creep, and he's got Blink, the Shadow Blade could work similar too, but definitely a little harder. So, I mean, he's just continuing to farm so rapidly. He's sitting at 264 last hits on Sumail. That's amazing.
Farming up the Storm and the Void, the Weaver falling further and further behind. Deadly's Viper does complete the Aghanim Scepter, level 18 now. Talon is where things get really juicy for the Viper. Almost doubling the damage of the Viper Strike.
Definitely good ultimate this game, especially because of the slow against Lifestealer. It's only a 10-second cooldown right now. Even without the Viper Strike DPS at 20, still pretty happy with this, but it's still difficult. It makes him naturally tanky, his right click is not that strong, and it just feels like EG has more control over fights.
Yep. Navi have a lot of damage for the time, and that's something that doesn't work against an IO. He's going to heal over time, so unless they can solve the IO problem, which we haven't seen because we haven't had a team fight really this entire game, I just don't see them getting through EG. They have to get past the claws and somehow kill this Weaver.
I didn't even get the Scepter tether bonus either. He went for 90 Spirits hero damage. There's not that many Eggs benefits this game other than on like AA or maybe Beastmaster Aura, but he just doesn't care about those. So he's just going to focus on dealing damage, focus on saving his allies if needed.
You don't want to be using your tether on a hero to give him an Ags when there may be someone in the front lines who needs a tether for the overcharge or a relocate save. So.
Basically every other IO ability.
Yeah.
A little more important for sure.
Yeah, by tethering someone to give them an Ags, you're kind of negating the purpose of the hero.
Yeah.
It's in some ways like a bad way to use tether. Because of in a team fight at least.
Yeah. Crit's in such a good position though. Like he's had so much time to farm this game. 0-0 and 5 right now. He's got Mech, he's got Urn, he's got a Wand, he's got a Ghost Scepter. Basically nothing's going to deal damage to him except for something like Chronosphere into follow-up setup. As long as this guy's not stunned, he's going to be able to defend himself.
I think that's the beauty of this game, dragging out Io getting farmed. That the hero that kind of annoys Io into be a problem is the Weaver. Weaver is kind of talked about as like, oh, that's good against the Io. He's going to Jikuchi the backlines, find him and kill him off. But when you've got a Mech and well, more importantly, the Ghost Scepter, you don't really care. The Weaver cannot solo kill you at this point. It's got to be locked down from a Chronosphere, as you said, an Earth Splitter. Something additional needs to come into play if they want to get the Io kill.
And that's assuming he doesn't pop Ghost Scepter before the Chrono. Like, as long as Crit is paying attention and he sits in a safe place, and Na'Vi doesn't get the Chrono out of nowhere, then he should be able to defend himself. And once he finishes Greaves as well in a moment, more armor for the team, more regen, and a lot more armor when he gets low. So just incredible map control for EG right now. This is their bread and butter. This is the way they like playing. Beastmaster's queuing up a Heart next.
Yep.
So he's just impossible to kill at that point.
It's very much like the safest way for EG to play this. If Na'Vi's going to sit in their base and not come out and contest Roshan, take fights, then you don't risk your lead by going high ground. You secure your lead by out-farming Na'Vi. They're only up by a couple of kills, but it's over 20k gold. They've got Aegis, they've got Cheese, but they just don't care about pushing high ground. I think they also just know their lineup scales way better into the late game. The attempted kill on the Witch Doctor. Viper Strike down.
Okay, get them a little low, but he should survive from that.
No Ags, the Glimmer Cape on Misery, prioritizing the utility this game. Probably thinking like, man, I should have Midas with how low action this game is.
I mean, Glimmer is like super needed when you're playing a hero like A against Weaver, because going invisible is the only way to easily remove the bugs as a support. So Glimmer is the best solution. With that said though, General does have a Dust and he's carrying at the ready because he wants to get these solo kills. Look at his position. Like, this is all he can do. He's like, I'm not going to sit in the base. I will just hopefully find support.
The General's been involved in 6 of the 10 Na'Vi kills, but the majority of those have been AA kills, which, end of the day, have not really contributed to a whole lot. Incredible game in a sense. Like, you look at Arteezy, Crit, these guys both 0 kills, 0 death. It's just not been the priority for EG. Whereas coming out on top of this one, they know they do not need kills. Need that one big team fight. Aegis going to expire, and I don't think EG mind that they didn't get a lane of Rax while they had that Aegis.
They don't want to mess around. They've got the map controlled. They don't want to gamble this on a Chrono with a Death Ward. Anything else to follow up like Elder Titan Ultimate, that could absolutely throw the game. They sit back, they continue to farm. We're going to see Sumail get Chrono though.
Yeah. This is perhaps the big kill here. They're not going to need an Earth Splitter. Looks like they bring down Sumail. Does he go for any kind of a buyback push here? Top lane Arteezy doing damage to the tier 3 tower. They get on LeBron. Sumail is going to buy back. Perhaps booster trouble. He TPs into the shrine. He's looking to rejoin here. Crystallize does not have Chrono for this one. Here comes Lion. Small little relocate out, making sure Arteezy does not get brought down, and they want to go for the push, I imagine. This is the open. This is when you can push high ground. Chrono is down. He dodges the Viper Strike with an infest. Great play from Arteezy. He's back on the tower with Raid. Sumail goes in, gets the roll on Genji. Viper's dead. Forced the buyback. Lil's next to the firing line. In goes the DK. Gets the stun on General's Weaver. Weaver cannot time back away. And Na'Vi are crumbling. Buyback after buyback. They've got to find a way to hold. They're trying to bring down Arteezy. Viper Strike slowing him down. Can Arteezy get away here? There's a lot of chase. Diffuse looking to slow him even further. General taking big damage as he chases though. And Arteezy should be fine. He's got another rage if he needs it. Crit's also there on the sidelines.
Playing very safe.
And Na'Vi will not get any kills as they commit 3 buybacks. You're going to throw those buybacks out. You've got to get those kills. You get full gold for them nowadays. But not getting them, they fall deeper and deeper into the hole, Kevin.
And all it cost them was a Chronosphere on Beastmaster and a Beastmaster death. And a Beastmaster buyback.
That's kind of how you need to play a late game against a 1 ulti team like a Void. To use a buyback to secure, well, they don't get a rack, but to secure a 1-5 when that Chrono's down, it feels like.
And it also guarantees them shrine kills, so now the map control is even worse for Na'Vi. Forces sit in their base, I mean, the way that EG's been playing these fights is like perfectly calculated. IO didn't even want to tether Arteezy in that moment because he just didn't want to get gone on in the first place. And he also, in some ways, it kind of looked like he's like, go for Arteezy, go ahead. I can always be there for him and keep him alive. I want him to stay a little low just in case you'll actually leave your base. That way we can just wipe you and end the game.
Yeah. Giving Crit the cheese. I love this.
Bottom shrine
One of the best cheese heroes in the game. What can Na'Vi do differently? Like, can they just never afford to use a Chronosphere on a solo kill? Like, was that a bad Chrono in hindsight, would you say?
I don't know. It's so hard to say because I feel like EG's at the network advantage at this point that getting solo kills is inconsequential. It's like if EG wanted to, they could just high ground. But if Na'Vi never goes for chrono kills, then they'll just be in the base until EG has 100k gold advantage and ends it, you know?
Yeah, like damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, hopefully they can grab more heroes in a Chronosphere, or they can maybe get a gem of their own and de-ward something. Might be helpful, but very hard.
Now we get the 5s kicking in as we hit the 40-minute mark. Tumel has the extra inner beast attack speed, so even more physical damage coming from him. Lifestealer hits his 25 plus 2-second rage duration, as you'd expect. Better sieging. Yep, exactly. That's how you siege.
And his next item, another BKB.
Gonna have a lot of
18 seconds of magic immunity.
More,
that's
you get
like,
the rage will refresh,
right.
so it's plus another extra 8. 26 seconds.
It's like old Lifestealer back in the day.
26 seconds of magic immunity as a Lifestealer.
Pretty good. Especially with this much HP and armor and right click.
Yeah, that's where you look. Well, is there physical damage to kill him during magic immunity? Not really. You can slow down his damage output with the Viper Strike, and can still apply that without the damage during his...
Ugh. It's going to be so hard for them to kill him. It's very smart that he's going BKB this game, because really most of their damage is coming from Viper and amplification from Nether Toxin and Maledict. And he can just protect himself against all of those with Rage and BKB. They just don't have an alternate damage source.
The final, perhaps, problem to solve for EG is how do we just break this base? You know, we're ahead, we're getting further and further ahead. This game feels like it's in the bag. But how do we actually, you know, get across the finish line, break some buildings, and you know, having a magic immune carry like a Lifestealer is how you do it. But, you know, Rage is there, but let's get more. Get more magic.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of the Ags on AA this game, just because it could give them an easier way to jump in and kill somebody instantly maybe, and then back out without having to fully commit that could work. But he's very far away from that, and I think the next most obvious is just things like Refresher Shard.
Crazy thing is right now, like EG just have such a good understanding of how Na'Vi are playing in their base that both Arteezy and Fear doesn't buy him. He just, you know, he's going to buy a BKB. He doesn't feel afraid that Na'Vi's going to come out and make a play, because they haven't. That's just not been Na'Vi's motif this game, and as a result, you know, perhaps the opening there is, you know, if Na'Vi somehow smoke out and get a Chronosphere, kill a Lifestealer and a DK, you know, you win the game off of that. They don't have buyback at 42 minutes, that's game over, but EG are just so confident that they understand what Na'Vi are doing. They don't need to have those buybacks.
You have to use Rage here to dodge the stun. By the way, if Lifestealer uses a Refresher Shard, he could become magic immune for about 50 seconds. I
dig it.
That'd be pretty cool too.
Who has got the Refresher Shard? On the Dragon Knight in his backpack, okay.
So multiple initiations, multiple BKBs.
Here comes EG, 32,000 network advantage. Arteezy just sieging the building, slow and steady.
Fear splitting mid in the meantime too.
Yep, trying to see what damage he can do.
It's a great way to do it, because that way there's heroes in both lanes, less likely to get grouped up and everyone gets chronoed.
Yep. Looking to maximize their damage output on these buildings here. Arteezy's starting to get pretty low. Crit is in the neighborhood, which the cheese if he wants to. Needs to get low. He's starting to use the overcharge. Yeah, it looks like Crit's almost like, oh, I need to start losing some health here. Heal up my team.
No way, keep Lifestealer's health up, and then when Rage is back up, jump back in, hit towers.
Yep. He's like, well, top lane's done. Let's focus on mid now. As before, Fear again is splitting. He's not doing much damage. The health talent and all the ability he's got next to no damage output, but he is creating a difficult snare for Na'Vi. General gets gone over Blink Rock. Chronosphere comes in, catches two. Where's the Aya? Relocates it perfectly. Pulls him out of the Chronosphere. Meanwhile, Arteezy likely to go down here, but that's just the agent. Fear swoops in, gets caught in the Maledict. Death Split there as well. He's very, very tanky. Won't take any damage from the Maledict as well because of the BKB, and Arteezy says, let's just get some racks. Let's hit these buildings. Fear's back hitting the bottom lane. EG don't even have to go for the kills. They just slowly, bit by bit, are breaking Na'Vi's base. Chrono is used. I imagine EG may just be able to clean up these remaining lanes of racks here at this point because of the Chrono cooldown.
That's possible. They get the kill. They got him.
They got the stun. Crystallize, great full start, but it's not enough. He's going to be forced to buy back. Instantly TP's back in then.
It's going to be RTZ dying maybe. Okay, gets Rage off.
The Rage off and back to the safety of the low ground here. Back in with the Rage. He's healing up as Paul Dandy gets chewed apart. He does not have buyback. And now Na'Vi back to the well they go. Fear gets a blink stun off. They catch up Crystallize and GG is called. Na'Vi.
Very hard game.
By 1,000 cuts, it feels like this game.
I mean, I think they did really well considering the laning stage. They